Hello everybody, this is meteorologist Andrew Pinero with another Tesla video. It's been a long time since I've had a Tesla video, since really the intro to Tesla. And this one is a very interesting video. One I wasn't sure if I was ever going to make because I wasn't sure if I was actually going to buy this. But I did. The Tesla wall connector Gen 3. Wall connector, because this is actually not a charger. The charger is within the car itself. But we're going to talk a little bit about why I chose to go with the Tesla wall connector versus the Tesla mobile connector, which I have shown in the previous video before, and why you may actually not want to go, if you're going to get a Tesla, why you would not want to go with the wall connector. We're talking about certain circumstances, why you would need it, why you would not need it, all in this video. So stay tuned, and we're going to talk all about the Tesla wall connector. All right, so let's take a look at the Tesla wall connector right from Tesla's website here. So I'm just going to switch on over here to the computer screen. There we go. So right here from Tesla.com, what you're going to do to get this is you're going to click on Shop, and this is going to bring you to the Tesla accessories. So you have charging accessories, there's a whole bunch of different things here, but right here on the main page, wall connector, the fastest way to charge. That is a picture of it, but this is actually the older one. They modified it recently, where this looks like the 8-foot cord. You had two options of an 8-foot or an 18-foot cord. Now you only have one option, which is a 24-foot cord, which is what I got, which I like. So $500 for it. And now that might seem expensive, but again, this is a Tesla. It is an expensive vehicle. So to maintain the expensive vehicle, the charging equipment is going to be expensive as well. So $500 may seem steep, but in the grand scheme of things, it's actually not. And there are other charge points. These are not chargers, again, as I mentioned, these are charge points. They're basically just delivering power, AC power, to the car. Now, you can't charge a battery from AC, so you have to convert AC power to DC power. That's what the charger does. The charger is built into the car. Now here, this charge point, it can, and this is all in miles of range gained per hour, this, with the maximum capacity of this charge point, deliver 44 miles of range added per hour. And this is the 24-foot cord. This is the only one they have right now, which is good. I like 24 feet. Plenty of room to park your car wherever. Now, this has a maximum output of 48 amps. But because there's actually a federal law that EV chargers are only allowed to pull up to 80% capacity of a circuit breaker. So in my circuit breaker that I have right next to me here, I'm going to put in there, and this is where the install is going to be the next part here. So with the install, we're going to install a 60 amp breaker, which is going to be the highest rated breaker that the Tesla wall connector can accept. Because then 80% of 60 is 48. So 48 amps is actually double what I'm using right now. I have a 30 amp, I'm using the dryer plug, which is a 30 amp breaker. So it's only taking 24. So I'm going to be doubling the amount of power going into the car, charging it faster, which is definitely a good thing. Here, this is where you go to pay, Apple Pay, add to cart. Now, one other thing that's interesting here, incentives, a 30%, let me zoom in right here. A 30% federal tax credit is available for most customers in the U.S. Please consult with your tax professional regarding IRS Form 8911. Now this I am going to be filling out. This was actually revised this year. Alternative fuel vehicle refueling property credit. So this is a tax credit for installing an alternative fuel, electricity, on your property. So I own this property, so this is actually something that's going to be really good to try and get. So this is something I'm going to have to talk a little bit about with the tax people and see how I can get this 30% tax credit. So I'm going to show you here. This is the sheet that is all of the information, or all of the pieces that the electrician needed. So this total cost plus the total cost of the wall connector itself, I get 30% of that back in my tax refund that I get in 2022 for the 2021 tax year. So that's a nice incentive. And a lot of government incentives are all around alternative fuel stuff and tax credits for new Teslas. I didn't get that because I bought a used Tesla. And also for solar energy. So this is purchasing the wall connector, and these are some pictures of it. I'm going to throw up some B-roll throughout the video just to show you, and a little montage of it. But now let's go check out the wall connector itself. Oh, there was one more thing I wanted to show you on here. This could be at home charging. So here's the Tesla wall connector. So now this is a $425 pedestal, rugged aluminum post. So here's what it looks like. Now this you have to looks like screw into the ground over here, and then you mount the wall connector to this. Now I was thinking, maybe a little bit of some ingenuity, and I can make my own. So I did. I built my own. It's not the prettiest, but it functions. So let's head over there now, and I'll show you the pedestal and the wall connector itself. All right, so overall the install went very well. My dad's friend, who's the electrician, Scott, did a really nice job. And I'm going to show you some of that here because I got the Tesla charger actually charging the car behind me. So let's take a look at that right now. All right, so here you see the green lights showing the flow. Electricity's flowing out of that through the wiring here, and then down through here and into the garage where the car is right there. Side note, when the Tesla is actually done charging completely, instead of the green pulsing light going down, you get a solid blue light indicating charge is complete, and the cord starts to cool down now because it's not pumping as much power through at all. And for the whole thing here, my dad and I actually built the pedestal that the wall charger is sitting on. All right, now for the flow. So you can see the flow downward here. That means the power is going out through the bottom, and it's coming in from the top. So we have the conduit installed through the top here. So this is a flexible conduit because it's on a pedestal. Going through the top there. There's the end of the conduit. There goes the wire. Fairly thick wire. This is 6 gauge. That's the minimum recommendation. 4 to 6 gauge is in the range there. So then we have that wire with a couple other wires. It's like this orange one is the dryer. That is a 10 gauge wire. You kind of see the thickness difference between the 10 gauge and the 6 gauge. And that goes all the way down the very end down there where the breaker is, and that's actually where my studio is. So that black wire right up in there continues to flow right down through into here. Then there's a little hole cut out in the very back. It's kind of hard to see there, but through the very back there, that's where it cuts through this wall over here, which is the outside wall of the studio, to go into the breaker, which I'll show you next. So this is the fancy breaker cover that came with the house when we got it. So open that up, and here is the main breaker box. You can see all those wires coming up through. So that black wire right there, that is the Tesla charger. The orange one is the dryer one. So that comes through that little corner I just showed you over here, down into the breaker panel here. So my breaker in the house here is a 100 amp breaker. We got a bunch of stuff in here. There's the dryer, and here the newest one, the Tesla charger. It's this 60 amp breaker, which you kind of feel, if you touch, it's really warm because that's a lot of power going through there. So that is what the breaker looks like normally when you open it. So now I'm going to show you what the electrician does on the inside of it And I'm going to show you that now. Okay. So with the breaker panel off, this is really what it looks like on the inside. Now our electrician said it was actually pretty well organized in here. So the previous homeowners, they did a really nice job keeping everything very organized. So essentially this is all of the wiring for the house. So if you haven't actually seen the inside of a circuit breaker before, the big black and the red, that's the main lines coming in from the street, along with that very thick ground. So those three lines come in from the poles outside the house, and they feed through in here, and the ground breaks off to those either sides, and then you get your actual breakers in the middle here. So this one right here, that's the newest one. That is the 60 amp for the Tesla charger. And basically that comes, the white and the black are the lines going to the Tesla charger, and along with the ground, that all comes through here. So that black wire we were following before comes in through here and it splits off. So he did the ground going down this way and into the ground block on that side. And then the line 1 and line 2, basically the hot lines, coming through around there and down into the breaker side over here. So that is the inside of the breaker. And the hardest part was actually, again, getting this thick 6-gauge wire through the little panel gap out there from the wall, through the wall and into here. Otherwise, it was a pretty straightforward install. Alright, well that pretty much wraps up this video of the Tesla wall connector. So I have my car back here running. Let me step off camera here. Ooh, there it is right over there, plugged in and charging through the wall connector. And it's something that not everybody needs. So if you get a Tesla, don't immediately jump to the Tesla wall connector. Yeah, it does look cool, and I love that the Tesla wall connector actually matches the color of the car. But it's not necessary for everybody. The mobile connector that you get with the car, if you live in a house and you have, say, a dryer plug that you can either use, or you can get a switch that you plug both the dryer and the Tesla charger in, and you can switch back and forth without having to unplug. But if you're in the house and you have a 240-volt dryer plug available, that's all you really need. It's going to charge the car fast enough, even a 30 amp versus, say, a 50 amp. That 30 amp, if I was living still in the house here, that'd be totally fine. I needed the wall connector because I don't live here anymore, so I needed to get as fast of a charge as possible. And the car itself, with level 2 charging, the highest you can get for at-home charging, it maxes out at 48 amp. So I needed to get a charger that can output 48 amp to max that out, which it's working really well. Side note, since I don't live here anymore, I can bring laundry over and do laundry because I can run the dryer and charge the car at the same time. Couple of things to keep in mind with anything like this, whether you're getting the wall connector or you're just using the mobile connector and, say, a dryer plug, make sure you have enough amperage in your breaker available. So my house here, it has a 100 amp breaker, and sometimes 100 amp breaker may not be enough depending on the size of the house that you have and all the stuff that you're running. For us, totally fine. So that's a couple of things to keep in mind there if you are going down the road of getting an electric car of any kind, whether it's a Tesla like I did or anything. Keep in mind your charging solution. You should actually think about that and maybe get your charging solution in place before you even get the car. Alright, so that wraps up this video. I hope everyone enjoyed a quick look at circuit breakers, the Tesla wall connector, and I can't thank my dad's friend Scott enough, who's the electrician that was able to install all of it for us. All right, so that wraps up this Full Throttle Thursday. I hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for more Tesla content, as I'll be getting some more regular Tesla content out for you guys. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all in the next video. And I'm going to leave you with some Tesla sounds as the car is charging.